Have you ever been in a situation where you have been craving validation in order to make yourself feel good about yourself? And that can be in relationships. It could be in your friendship circle. It could be in a work situation. The situation really doesn't matter, but it is a behavior pattern that so many of us have taken up over the years. And in this video, I want to show us why we're doing it. And I also want to give you some helpful hints and tips that will help you break that pattern and help you actually learn how you can validate yourself and build up your own self-worth and your own self-confidence without the need for external validation. If this is the first time that you're coming across my content, it is so good to have you here. My name is Gemma Lonsdale and I am a psychic medium and life coach, and I am here to help you create a life that you love. Now, if we look at why we actually get into this behavior pattern, that will help you understand and probably recognize some of the behaviors that you have maybe adopted in your life. The reality is there are so many different reasons why we have actually got to this stage in life and why we are seeking this external validation. But actually, one of the big things will stem from our childhood. Whenever we were little kids, we possibly were in a situation where we either felt that we needed to please people in our lives, and that might have been the adults and the caregivers, parents, teachers, all of these people around us, where we needed to be the good boy or the good girl in order to get praise. Now, the other side of that is that we may have found ourselves in a situation where we not only were expected to be good and conform to a certain standard, but we may have felt that we needed to in order to make our living situation more bearable. The challenge is that once we start to adopt that behaviour, it actually becomes a learned behaviour that we start to perpetuate through our whole lives. So all of a sudden we're on autopilot and we're doing all of these things to please other people and to get that pat on the head in order to make us feel good about ourselves. And half of the time we don't even realise that we're doing it, and we haven't even thought to ourselves, gosh, am I supposed to be fitting into everybody else's box? Am I supposed to be doing everything to please them? But if you can see yourself in that, if you're starting to think to yourself, gosh, I can see that and I've done this and I've done that, that is actually a really powerful place to be. Because in order to actually make the changes, we need to be in a position where we can recognize the behavior pattern that we have adopted. So if you're in that position and you can start to see it, congratulations, that is a really, really good place to be. It's really important to be aware that although we can start to make these positive shifts, we are not in a position where we can change things overnight. This has taken up years of conditioning and years of behavior that has made you act in this way and adopt this autopilot behavior. So it is going to take some time to strip it all back. And if you can think of dismantling a house brick by brick and then starting to rebuild it all brick by brick again. So it is going to take time. So be patient with yourself, be kind with yourself. But here we will get into some really good tips that will help you start to understand those parts of yourselves and actually make the changes. The first thing is to focus on your value. We spend so much of our lives actually looking at other people and what they want, and we try to conform to that in order to appease them. We don't really think of the true value that we add. We have become puppets that, can contort and conform into other people's expectation. But whenever we start to strip all of that away and focus on the value that we bring to the world and the amazing things about us, it makes it much more easy for us to reaffirm our own value and our self-worth. The challenge is that actually so many of us have got negative about ourselves and we don't see ourselves for our true worth, or we have listened to the criticism and things like that from other people and their negative perceptions, and we have absorbed those beliefs. So focusing on your values gives you a chance to really pick all of those apart and also build some up from scratch. I actually have a really great worksheet in my membership that is available to people who want to work through that. So if you want, you can go and have a look and join and get access to that worksheet. And that is a great tool to help you actually build up your worth. Another great thing is to use positive affirmations. I love affirmations. Now, it doesn't matter if you are standing, repeating them 10 times in front of a mirror, or you're repeating it in your head over and over again, or using it in a moment of need. Affirmations are really powerful statements that when we repeat them enough, our brain starts to believe what we're saying. So whenever we start to use positive affirmations, it's a really great tool that we can actually implement that will help us reprogram our thinking, reprogram our behavior, and actually change how we perceive ourselves. I actually have a list of 15 different affirmations that would be relevant for this. So that is in the membership as well. You can actually go and have a look at that, or have a look at making your own. There are so many resources online that you can actually have a look and see, okay, what affirmations would be really good for me to use. Pick one or two and start to utilize them day to day in your life. And honestly, it will change your world. Another thing I would suggest that you do is actually question your motivation for doing things. If you find yourself going to post something on Instagram, for example, actually ask yourself the question, why are you posting it? Or it might be on Facebook. Why are you posting that out? What is your end game? What is your motivation? Is it because you want to attract attention? Is it that you're wanting to get likes? Is it that you want a bit of an ego boost? Is it the attention perhaps of one specific person that you're trying to attract? Whenever we start to analyze the motivations behind the actions that we're taking, it can start to tell us a lot about ourselves. And it does require that we're quite honest with ourselves. And that's not always easy to do, but it's a really good starting point. So you can start to think, okay, actually, if I'm doing it for the validation or if I'm doing it to please someone else, is that the right decision? Because it actually takes us away from our authenticity as well. Whenever we are trying to fit into other people's boxes and we're performing circus monkeys, we're trying to do things to please other people or to get the validation and to get that back pat. So whenever we start to do things to please ourselves, that is a really powerful way to start and build up your self-confidence and to start to build up your worth without the need of validation from other people. So if you find yourself going to post something, actually, maybe you should be posting something different, something that may not get as many likes, but is more authentically you. Another great thing that is helpful here is understanding what has caused this behavior pattern. We will all have a different story to tell. Some of it may cross over, a lot of it might be similar to somebody else, but you will have an independent life journey that is completely unique to you. So, taking some time to actually reflect back and consider what has happened in your life, and it's likely to be a snowball of different events. But actually question and understand what has caused it, and it can be a really powerful way to help you actually reframe your thinking and to look at things differently and be a bit easier and gentle on yourself as well. Not all of the trauma and things that you have experienced are your fault, but it is absolutely your responsibility to put right. This is something that I've really struggled with in my life for many years. And it has taken me, obviously a bit of time to unpick that. But these are the sorts of things that I did that really made a significant difference in my life. Not only that, they're also things that I've used with my coaching clients and in my various coaching groups. So I know that they work. Not only have I been able to transform my life, but I've helped umpteen other people transform theirs as well. And I know that you can do the same. So I hope that this has helped you. If focusing on this is something that you want to really look at, or you want to become more confident and become more authentic, then check out my membership. I'm going to pin the link below so you can go and have a look. We work on a 2-week cycle. We focus on different topics every 2 weeks. There's various different workbooks and guided exercises, meditations, things like that to actually work through the 2-week cycle. And there's a host of on-demand content as well that you can access when you're there. If you want other free content, I also am on Substack if you want to follow my written work. And I also am on Instagram and TikTok as well. If that isn't enough, I also have my Happy Psychic podcast, which it's an archive now, but it's got over 100 episodes that will help you heal and create a life that you love. So check that out as well. And I am so pleased to have had you here. If you like this content, hit like, hit subscribe, drop a comment in, share it with someone that needs to hear it as well. And I am so grateful to have you here and so grateful to be able to help you on your journey.